This video is going to be a response to a stereotypical behavior of people who are trying to prop up religious beliefs or just yell at me, who immediately stoop to the level of the damned. And I mean that in the literal sense. Again, I have to repeat this. I'm an atheist who reads the Bible when you tell me you saw something in the Bible, finds out it's not there, and states that you are misrepresenting the Bible. Lying about the content of what is supposed to be God's Word is supposed to be an unforgivable sin, or it should be, but apparently a lot of you don't give a damn. So here we go. But I'm going to read the good quote of the day. Always assume you could be wrong and actively try to figure out why that might be. Generally, the right answers are the ones that are most resilient to being consistently challenged. It's the best way to be right. Now, somebody just echoing what all of us should already know. Meanwhile, let's get to the... Someone claimed the Encyclopedia Britannica listed the word legal as having a definition that obviously and preposterously didn't exist. The destruction of God's law. Obviously it didn't. Then the person says that the Bible mentions or teaches, do not accept man-made law. Now this is a conclusion someone has made. This is not an accurate conclusion. It doesn't make any fucking sense. But then again, there are people out there who decided that we should argue or even start a war over which day on the weekend, as we call it, Sunday and Saturday, should be God's days off. You may have noticed we have 2 days off during the week because of that fucking argument. I'm okay with it. Keep arguing. That way we always have 2 days off. But except for that practical application that makes all atheists grin from ear to ear like a Cheshire cat, and most of you really being a lot happier, the Bible doesn't really teach do not accept man-made law. In fact, parts of it, I'm not going to quote, you get to go look it up, state that you're supposed to follow the laws of the land when you enter certain areas. The laws being brought down upon you by the people in that area, whether they are just or not. Now, I'm not reading from the Koine Greek, Aramaic, and Hebrew, or any of them. I'm just saying. And it's your job to go dig it out and see if that actually says anything like that about a specific, very specific passage. Now, here are some quotes similar to one of those quotes. Let's get this out. And I literally can't find one under the King James Bible Online or Open Bible Info and the cross-reference and the concordances. And I actually did look. Now, I'm sure I missed something. After all, if you take the Bible illiterally, you can make anything out of it you want to. But, well, it kind of said that isn't a good way to get into heaven or get out of hell, so I don't think any of the people who misquote this kind of crap really believe in what they're saying. They're the high priests and priestesses of the damned. Because, again, if you keep misquoting God, I think he's going to kick you out. It's not ignorance. You don't have that anymore. But I'm being ignorant, obviously. The destruction of God's law by man will have the natural effect of destroying man. That's by Hope Baptist Church, Sunbury, Melbourne, Australia. But at least it has the words in it, destruction of God's law, and or the destruction of God's law. By the way, the person forgot the comma, or the little thingy, little phonetic punctuation, in the word God, because it's possessive, not multiple gods. Why would you use the plural for gods rather than possessive of God for law? I don't want to read anything into that. Anyway, let's move on. The next quote's similar. This is the only two that I could find even partially close. At all. This video may be the only thing on the internet that has your stupid misquote in it. Both of them. In the title. In your face. See the references below me. Christ's death is the means of establishing the law, used by Satan to teach the destruction of God's law. Or something to that effect. It's not a direct quote. By Come and Reason Ministries, page 11, lesson 3, first quarter of 2018, on their little pamphlet page. Bouquet. It does not say that the word legal is destruction of God's law, which was attributed to Encyclopedia Britannica. And as for teaching do not accept man-made law, that's a conclusion that people throw around and say, oh, it's in the Bible. And then they don't tell you exactly what you're talking about. They can't quote chapter and verse or give a good reasoning behind it. And the only place I found any reference to this was a jihadist that was about to be executed. Do not accept man-made law. This is an Islamic fundamentalist jihadist who is then misquoting the Bible. The Bible teaches do not accept man-made law, only he said it a little bit different, but he did say do not accept man-made law. But that's the transliteration from his language. That's the closest I could find for it saying Bible, teach, and do not accept man-made law. Literally, a jihadist who was being executed for murdering a whole busload of kids. So I don't really think that that's a good look for you, but your comment's archived so you can't fucking take it back. This person's posted on my channel and posted bullshit before. And this is him going to, 99% of all statistics are made up on the spot. By the way, that is a actual self-referential joke. But the trouble is, when someone tried to double-check it for fun, they found out that around 90% of quotes that you see on the internet and statistics are literally made up on the spot and had never existed before. There's an origin story for almost all of them. When you look up anything, statistics show, or a statistic that is quoted, when you look it up, if you look up the origin story for it, you find it's a person who wasn't quoting anything that existed before they said it. Which is kind of frightening because it literally became an accurate statement. 90% or more of statistics quoted on the internet are made up on the spot actually turned out to be true. And again, coincidentally, long after it was said. It kind of implies some sort of time tunnel goddamn thing and Thanos snapping shit. Let's move on. Next. The truth behind the attempted destruction of God's law. At least it says destruction of God's law. The spiritual vigilante, or vigilantes. 2017, Danny Shelton, founder of Three Angels Broadcast Network, Seventh-day Adventists. It's one of his bits from his group. That's another reference that is close to it. So I'm going to read in full the not so fully quotable statement here. No, it's not. It's just your mind in the belief legal is legal when it is anything but. There isn't any punctuation in this, so I'm not exactly sure. No, it's not. It's just your mind. In the belief, legal is legal when it is anything but. Or, no, it's not. It's just your mind. In the belief, legal is legal when it is anything but. I'm not really... There's no punctuation to decode this, so you can do that if you want. What did the Bible teach? Do not accept man-made law. There is some punctuation here, but it doesn't really help much. And no, it doesn't say that. Why are you misquoting the Bible like every other religious person I see? And most importantly, why are you using a quote that is almost a perfect transliteration of a jihadist who is about to die for killing a bunch of children in some bus or something? By the way, if you want to go through the process, clicking the channel that posted this has its favorites page loaded with booty bang music and stuff, and then conspiracy theory shit and self-righteous religious stuff. I'm nervous about this, but let's continue. What is the Britannica Cyclopedia read? Can you please write language better, gooder? Legal, the destruction of God's law. Now, it's not phrased correctly, typed correctly, and it says God's law using the plural of God, not God S as in possessive or God's created law. Legal, the destruction of the pantheon of God's laws, or the pantheon of God's having a law. Commas, let's eat grandma versus let's eat grandma. You need to have punctuation to prevent grandma from being eaten. Makes no difference how much you show people, they will always argue it's just a jigsaw. No, I've never seen that. Most people don't say that. However hard you try to show people or convince them of what you wish to believe, they don't claim it's just a jigsaw or that there's no option for learning except somebody like you who might be saying there's no way to know anything, and then you misquote literally the Bible and Encyclopedia Britannica. Most people have a definitive idea of why they believe what they believe, or they say, I've never considered the subject, tell me more, or I'm busy, I'll look it up later. Never for 1 minute thinking of it any other way. Mindset. Maybe you need a mind reset. Again, I'm going to repeat myself here because I like doing this. It's annoying to people sometimes. You misquoted Encyclopedia Britannica and the Holy Bible by saying that legal was defined as the destruction of God's law somewhere when it wasn't, and that the Bible teaches or mentions or something, do not accept man-made law. And you also use the plural for God instead of the correct punctuation, so it sounds like you're talking about a pantheon of gods. And one of your quotes is more likely to be a direct quote of some Islamic fundamentalist jihadist who died because he murdered a bunch of children. So anyway, let's repeat. The best way to be right is to always assume you could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong about all of this. Please explain your fucking self, please. This is another person, obviously. Actively try to figure out why that may be, why you could be wrong. Generally, the right answers are the ones that most resilient to being consistently challenged. In fact, that's what I found too. Thank you for being a shining light in this tunnel of shit. And again, I have to emphasis added. You're making an atheist complain about you misquoting the Bible and pointing out that that really probably is, if you don't have it already written somewhere, probably in the Apocrypha, all the shit that was edited out of the Bible, probably a sin worthy of being damned permanently without any option out if you misquote the damn Bible while preaching. A preacher who is incompetent, who preaches incorrectly. I think there's something along those lines that is talked about, at least in a story of some sort. Judge not lest thee be judged. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. I do wish you a lot of luck.